Sunday night prayer meeting. We're glad for all those that are here tonight, and we welcome you that are watching online and pray with us. We're going to pray for Israel tonight. I was very disturbed to see all the marching in Washington, D.C. and huge crowds. The streets were filled with those supporting the Palestinians and those who are against Israel. I'm going to read a lot of scripture. Some of it I got from, I was listening to John Kilpatrick today, and he was revealing some things. Others I looked up on my own, and so it's a mix of some things he shared and some things I put down for here tonight. But I just want to read scripture, and then we're just going to pray for Israel tonight. In Psalm 83 that we've shared before, it says, "O God, do not remain quiet. Do not be silent, and O God, do not be still. For behold, your enemies make an uproar, and those who hate you have exalted themselves. They make shrewd plans against your people and conspire together against your treasured ones. They have said, 'Come and let us wipe them out as a nation, that the name of Israel be remembered no more.'" And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but that phrase, "from the river to the sea," that's a Palestinian phrase that means we're going to wipe them out from the Jordan River all the way into the sea. And it's a catchphrase. We're going to wipe Israel off the map. That's what they're saying. So it says, "Come and let us wipe them out as a nation, that the name of Israel be remembered no more. For they have conspired together with one mind. Against you they make a covenant. The tents of Edom, the Ishmaelites," remember Ishmael was Abraham's son, and he became the father of all the Arab nations. "Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek." We talked about Amalek Wednesday. "Philistia." We even revealed that in the last couple of weeks as we were looking at Israel on our Wednesday night. The Philistines, one of the Roman emperors, Hadrian, I think, renamed the whole region Palestinia, and he did it because that was the Latin name for the Philistines. So the modern day Palestine is really Philistine, okay? So Philistia, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Assyria also has joined with them. Assyria is Syria, modern day Syria today. They have become a help to the children of Lot. If all these nations, if you look them up, Edom, Ishmaelites, Moab, all these nations surround Israel. They're all surrounded. The seas over here and all around, all these nations can be found in modern day names, and they have surrounded Israel. And how many of you know that even Gaza is found in the Bible? Have you ever looked it up? Judges 16, verse 3. "Samson lay low till midnight. Then he arose at midnight, took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the two gateposts, pulled them up, bar and all, put them on his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron." Where was he at? If you go to 16, verse 1, it says, "Now Samson went to Gaza." Samson, God's champion, was down in Gaza, the land of the Philistines, where he found some women of the Philistines that he wanted to be with. And so in the Bible, even Samson, God's champion, was dealing with Gaza way back then. In Zephaniah chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. "Gather yourselves together, yes, gather, O nation without shame. Before the decree takes effect, the day passes like chaff. Before the burning anger of the Lord comes upon you. Before the day of the Lord's anger comes upon you, seek the Lord. All you humble of the earth who have carried out his ordinances, seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger." We've talked in the Wednesday night about Ezekiel 38 and 39, and that's the great war when Russia and the kings of the north come down. It will be Russia and Persia and some others, and also China will be included, the kings of the east. But that's after that's farther away. This here in Psalm 83 that we read you, this is the war I believe that's going on right now. And Zephaniah talks about the same thing. And so he tells us to seek the Lord, all you humble of the earth, and seek righteousness and humility. Perhaps you will be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger. So that's why we're going to pray tonight, because something is happening. Something is shifted. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But let me read some more in Zephaniah chapter 2. In verses 4 and 5 it says, again, Gaza is found. For Gaza will be abandoned, and Ashkelon, which is one of the towns and cities there along that coastline. Ashkelon, a desolation. Ashdod will be driven out at noon, and Ekron will be uprooted. Woe to the inhabitants of the seacoast, the nation of the Cherethites. And Cherethites were a sub-tribe of the Philistines. The word of the Lord is against you, O Canaan, land of the Philistines, and I will destroy you so that you will there will be no inhabitant. Verses 6 and 7. So the seacoast will be pastures, with caves for shepherds and folds for flocks, and the coast will be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They will pasture in it. In the houses of Ashkelon they will lie down at evening, for the Lord their God will care for them and restore their fortune. That whole area was what God gave to Abraham, to the children of Israel. And that whole area, the southern part of Israel, was for Judah and for Benjamin, including what is now called Gaza, what was once the Philistines' country. God's getting ready to do something. There has been a shift. October 7th was a major shift, not just on the earth, in the spiritual realm. Let me share another little insight for you. Just before all this, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he's pretty much the Donald Trump of Israel. Everybody hates him, and they've been trying to trap him with legal things. He was put out for a while, and there was another prime minister in there for a little while. He has just come back into power recently, and who knows but what the Lord put him back in power to handle what's going on right now, because he's really hardcore defending Israel and hardcore going against the enemy. The other, just before him, he was more of a Biden type of leader. So there's things going on. There's shifting in leaders, and God can put up one leader and tear down another leader. And God, I believe, is putting things together right now on the earth. And in the Middle East, that's the bellwether. That's the ultimate sign is Jerusalem of when Jesus is coming back. And I believe there's a shift. And October 7 was a real shift in the spiritual realm. And it's going to affect the whole earth. I believe God right now is exposing nations. Why is he exposing nations? Because in Genesis 12, 1 through 3, now the Lord had said to Abram, get up out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. And we gave you the title deed last Wednesday. It's in Genesis 15, where God said to Abraham, here's going to be your land, from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates. And then he gave the north and the south boundaries. So he said, I will to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great. And you shall be a blessing. And here in verse 3, here's why God is exposing all the nations. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. There's a lot of nations turning against Israel right now. Part of the administration right now, so far, our administration at least is backing up Israel. But there's a whole push in the nation with all these riots and all these. There's a lot of people who don't know what they're doing. A lot of college students that are backing up people who are savages, barbarians, who came in on October 7th. Yes. And they're parading around with the Palestinian flags, not knowing, not realizing what's going on. But it clearly says, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who curses you. You think God's not exposing the nations? All this is happening. Nothing goes on the earth unless God allows it. God allowed this to happen. Is this a part of his end time plan? I'm going to expose all the nations. I'm going to see who's for Israel, who's going to be against, who's going to bless Abraham, who's going to curse Abraham, and then he's going to divide up some things for the end time. In Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 11 and 12, the word of the Lord came to me saying, what do you see, Jeremiah? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. That rod of almond tree, do you remember when they placed the rods in the ark? And remember that? Huh? Aaron's rod budded. It was an almond. It represents Israel. So I said, I see the rod of an almond tree. Then the Lord said to me, you have seen well, for I am watching over my word to perform it. When God declares a prophecy in his word, he then watches over his word to perform it. So when he told Abraham way back in Genesis 12, I will bless those who bless you and I will curse those who curse you, he's watching over his word. And he's going to keep his word. He's going to perform his word. All right, we're going back to Zephaniah. In Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 8 through 11. I have heard the taunting of Moab and the revilings of the sons of Ammon, with which they have taunted my people and become arrogant against their territory. Therefore, as I live, declares the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab will be like Sodom, and the sons of Ammon like Gomorrah. God wiped out both of those places. Listen as I read the rest of it. A place possessed by nettles and salt pits and a perpetual desolation. The remnant of my people will plunder them, and the remainder of my nation shall inherit him. This they will have in return for their pride, because they have taunted and become arrogant against the people of the Lord of hosts. Israel is still God's chosen people. He made a covenant with them that is forever. He made a covenant with Abraham that is forever. He made a covenant with the house of David, which is forever. So the Lord, it says, the Lord will be terrifying to them, for he will starve all the gods of the earth, and all of the coastlands of the nations will bow down to him, everyone from his own place. I said there was a shift, and God is judging the nations now. He's exposing who's on my side and who's against me. Because if you're against Israel, you're against the God who created Israel. If you're against the land that God gave to Abraham, then you're against the God who gave that land to Abraham. God set the boundaries. No one on earth set the boundaries. God did. And God declared from the river of Egypt to the great river Euphrates, and from Lebanon down to the south, and he set all the boundaries for the land of Israel. I don't know. But every time Israel has been to war over the last few times, they have gained territory. I wonder if in this war, all of a sudden, they're going to gain territory. I wonder if they're going to gain and go to the boundaries that God set way back in the Old Testament. I don't know, but perhaps he is. Something has shifted. Something has changed. Not just on the earth, not just with all the nations and all the reactions. Something has changed in the spiritual realm. And God is looking, and God is judging, and God is taking note. And he keeps precise records, and he's watching over his word right now to perform it. If we go back to Psalm 83, verses 13 through 18, this is the prayer. And I don't believe we're in the battle of Ezekiel 38 or 39. I believe we're in the battle of Psalm 83, the first part that I've already read to you. When we go down to the end of Psalm 83, it says, "O my God, make them like the whirling dust, like chaff before the wind, like fire that burns the forest, like a flame that sets the mountains on fire. So pursue them with your tempest, and terrify them with your storm. Fill their faces with dishonor, that they may seek your name, O Lord." Let me stop here and say this. I don't know if you've read it anywhere. I keep track of a lot of different things that's going on in the world, and there have been more Muslims turning to Jesus Christ over the last few years than ever before. And a lot of them, it said that Jesus appeared to them, or they had a vision of Jesus, and they gave their heart and soul to Jesus Christ. In the Muslim world, God's doing something. And this, at the end of the psalm, it says, fill their faces with dishonor, that they may seek your name, O Lord. I wonder if this is going to be such a defeat, and if God's going to show himself strong on Israel's behalf. And I've been praying that God do something miraculous over Israel in the battle that's going on, that the world may see, and they'll know, and they'll have to acknowledge that was something supernatural that God did. And I wonder when that happens, how many hearts will turn. Some won't, but some will. So fill their faces with dishonor, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be ashamed and dismayed forever. And let them be humiliated and perish, that they may know that you alone, whose name is the Lord, are the most high over all the earth. I believe God's getting ready to show himself strong on Israel's behalf. We'll see. I'm watching. I'm praying, Lord, protect your nation, protect your people. In Psalm 122, most of you know this. We've been sharing it recently. Verses 6 through 9 says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and companions, I will now say, peace be within you. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good. So tonight we're going to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and not just Jerusalem, but for all of Israel. We're going to pray for God to do what he needs to do right now, as he's exposing the hearts of the leaders of the nations. God is up to something. You can't look at the world stage right now and see all that's going on. God is up to something powerful in the spiritual realm. And I don't want to miss this, and I don't want to be on the wrong side, so we're going to pray for Israel. We're going to love the nation of Israel tonight in our prayers. And I know we've got our own personal thing. We prayed for a lot of that this morning. Wasn't that a good altar service this morning? I believe the Spirit of the Lord was here. I felt his presence here. So tonight we're going to honor Israel, God's chosen people. And I know, just for a minute, let me address this. A lot of people say that the church is the modern day representation. We've replaced Israel. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. It's called replacement theology, and I don't believe that. We're in the times of the Gentiles, but when the time of the Gentiles is up, he's going to go back to Israel, back to Jacob. And even the tribulation is called the time of Jacob's trouble. So we're going to pray for Israel. They are still in God's heart. They are still the people that God chose. They are still the people that God has his hand on, that he gathered from all the corners of the earth and placed them in that little small strip of land, surrounded by Ishmael and all the others that are against them. So we're going to pray. Join us at home. And I strongly urge you to pray for Jerusalem, pray for Israel, that God will protect his people and protect the land that he gave them.